all want a more enjoyable and fulfilling life, and I am no different. The problem is that many of us don't relate and can't buy into many of the gurus teaching spiritual practices because it completely contradicts our beliefs and what we know to be true. We need data, evidence, and science to buy into most things, and I was no different than you. Due to my knowledge and background in exercise science, neuroscience, human biology, and physics, for me to take anything serious or to believe it to be true, I had to see evidence, facts, and proof. I knew deep down in my gut that many of the tactics and techniques used among gurus and spiritual teachers did work, and I had my own success using many of them. To be frank, what I'm going to teach you changed my entire life, from my performance and happiness to my finances and my relationships with others, along with my relationship with self. After having the success I did, I went to work studying and researching everything I could find in order to prove and find science backing the art of happiness and transformation. I am happy to inform you that I got much more than I could have ever expected or hoped for. There is valid scientific evidence behind the art of transformation and happiness. Due to my extensive knowledge on the human body, I began to discover how to create the life and fulfillment that I had longed for my entire life, and do it on a cellular level. Do you ever remember a time when no matter how hard you worked or how much you did, it felt like nothing was working in your favor? You just couldn't win and had no idea why. Then on the other hand, you've had those stretches where no matter what you did, it seemed as though everything in life and business just worked in your favor. Do any of you find this phenomenon as intriguing as I do? What I'm about to reveal to you is why this happens. It's the same reason both good and bad things seem to come in threes or all at once. I started measuring and tracking my internal state 6 years ago, and what I discovered blew me away. For years, my business operated from a feast or famine state. Regardless of the fact that I would market myself in the same way consistently, I would have huge months in business and months where new business seemed completely non-existent. When I started tracking my emotional state, I wasn't surprised to learn that, as I had expected, my overall life and business results got easier and better the higher my emotional frequency got. And when I was struggling with low emotional states, no matter what I seemed to do, nothing worked. Our limbic system, where our emotions are produced, vibrates a frequency into the universe that is nearly 20 times further reaching than anything else we are currently aware of. It turns out that you don't actually attract what you desire, and instead you attract what you vibrate. In states of guilt, shame, and fear, we tend to attract more in our life that reinforces those same states. Regardless of the action taken, when it's taken from a certain emotional frequency, we attract more that reinforces that same frequency. When we operate out of states like willingness, acceptance, and reason, we attract and create a reality that is more hopeful, harmonious, and meaningful. The emotional state in which we operate is far superior of an indicator of personal and professional success than anything else we will ever do. This is why my clients increase their income by over 30% without me actually coaching them on any business tactics. Every person, place, and thing we come in contact with has a frequency. When creating the life you desire, it becomes critical to understand this. I'm sure you've heard that your income is usually the average income of the 5 closest people to you in your life, right? Why do you think this is? When we look at it from an energetic and science point of view, it becomes obvious that you vibrate like those closest to you vibrate, and that vibration has a direct effect on the abundance that you are able to produce in your life. Surround yourself with those who vibrate at a higher frequency where abundance becomes the norm, and you yourself will begin to experience that same abundance. Even the food we eat has a frequency rating. I began my career as a health coach, and as I began to study the energetics of food, I was blown away to learn that the food that supports our overall health and well-being has a much higher frequency rating than the food that compromises our health. For example, if we were to take 2 apples, one that was grown in nutrient-rich soil organically, and another that was grown in mass quantity and genetically modified, the organic apple would test nearly twice as high or strong as the non-organic apple would test. Even the environments we choose to put ourselves in have a frequency. Learning this and how to test the frequency of any given thing is critical in regards to creating the life we desire and knowing what is and isn't supportive of us. Now, let's take a look at the scale of consciousness. Each level of consciousness coincides with the determinal human behaviors and perceptions about life. Each level represents a corresponding attractor field of varying strength that exists beyond our three-dimensional reality, i.e., the law of attraction. The numbers on the scale represent logarithmic calibrations, which are measurable vibratory frequencies on a scale which increases to the 10th power. Of these levels of human consciousness in its corresponding levels of reality. When we look at the emotional states in red, poverty, despair, and hopelessness are the norm. In these states, we tend to feel helpless, and homelessness is actually a common reality. It is also common for people in these states to be isolated by chronic or progressive disease. Those who vibrate in the red are thought to be a burden to those around them. Unemployment is sky high at these levels. Over half of those in this state experience poverty. 91% experience criminality, and less than 2% even view life as okay. In these states, force must be applied to create any desirable result at all. All levels below 200 are destructive of life in both the individual and society at large. In contrast, all levels above 200 are constructive expressions of power. The decisive level of 200 is the fulcrum that divides the general areas of force, falsehood, from power, truth. At level 200, power first appears. When subjects are tested at all energy levels below 200, we find that they all go weak. Everyone goes strong in life's supportive energy fields above 200. This is critical level that distinguishes the positive and negative influences of life. Courage is the level of empowerment and is the first level where you're not taking life's energy from those around you. This empowerment leads you to the realization that you are the steward unto yourself and that you and you alone are in charge of your own growth and success. The correlation between consciousness and societal problems is unmistakable in nature. The link between our emotional state and therefore perception of life really does create our entire reality. Learning how to shift our state of consciousness is the determining factor most faced with life's biggest challenges and life's greatest successes. I look forward to seeing you on video 2, where I will be teaching you the link between emotional intelligence and personal and professional success. Thanks for watching.